Welcome to Today in the News here on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adirumi. I flip into all our newspapers for today, starting with Vanguard as usual. Major headline on Vanguard says 2027 reps cave in, back Senate on Electoral Act amendment. Minority caucus stage walkout over adoption of manual electronic transmission of results. Police tear gas protesters at NAS. Labour, civil society demand mandatory e-transmission. Senate reduces election notice to 300 days to enable INEC adjust timetable. Amechi opposition leaders merely grandstanding, says Wiki. A major story can be found on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. I look at the top banner. Top banner says that Tinubu, Trump, Harris, others mourn as U.S. civil rights leader J.C. Jackson dies at 84. Lent Ramadan begin today. Release Kano or return him to Kenya. Southeast monarch tells Tinubu. No equivalence between Kano, Igbo says presidency. Tovana says manufacturers and Greek sector face up to 60% interest rate. And look at the lower banner. Tinubu unveils Nigeria industrial policy demands speedy implementation. Dangote signs $400 million equipment deal to fast-track refinery expansion. Armed men abduct 6 travelers on Makurdi Naka Road, demand 100 million naira ransom. Nigeria, others ignore our judgment. ECOWAS quote laments. Away from the Vanguard, a look into the Punch. A major line on the Punch says 2027 elections, lawmakers protest as NAS OK's e-transmission manual backup. Outrage as Abari Bay leads 14 senators in protest. Minority reps walk out. Top banner says 432 billion naira probe. EFCC extends El-Rufai detention as lawyer pushes for bail. Nigeria loses 1.76 trillion naira after meeting OPEC quota. Cash crunch. Ministers lament as 10 trillion naira capital funding stalls. I look at our lower banner. It says France faces new flood nightmare as water surge. Ramadan Lent begin today across the globe. And lastly, Ondo APC chair beating as party meeting erupts in chaos. Away from that, a look into the Nation newspaper. Major headline on Nation says lawmakers okay e-transmission, 300-day election notification. Top banner Fubara ready with 20 nominees as commissioners. MSMEs created 250,000 jobs last year. World leaders mourn influential African American J.C. Jackson. Suspected thugs assault Ondo APC chair at meeting. Away from that, a look into the Guardian newspaper. Major headline on the Guardian says 2027 elections take shape as APC majority prevails, legal tussle looms. Top banner says Niger residents flee to Benin Republic as terrorists invade Bogu again. Remi Tinubu seeks prayers for Nigeria as Lent Ramadan begins. Zamfara governor alleges exclusion from federal government support over party affiliation. Lower banner it says hoodlums invade, disrupt APC stakeholders meeting in Ondo. And lastly, 1,000 Lagos police officers benefit from Sanwo-Olu's free eye care initiative. That's all we have on the front pages of the newspaper this morning. Join us at the break for a quick analysis. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News. You're on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adeomi. Joining us in the studio for a quick analysis today is Mr. Gbero Olajuigbe. He's Executive Director Emergency in Risk Alert. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. A pleasure being with you.
It's a pleasure always. I look into a major story for today. It says a fresh turmoil engulfed the National Assembly yesterday as minority members of the House of Representatives staged a dramatic walkout over contentious provisions in the Electoral Act Amendments Bill, even as police tear gas protesters demanding mandatory electronic transmission of results ahead of 2027 general election. On a day marked by high political drama, heated arguments, and street protests, the House caved into pressure and adopted Clause 63 Clause 60, which provides for both real-time electronic and manual transmission of election results. Let's start with this. How significant would we say the walkout by opposition lawmakers is in the House?
No, I think the question is not how significant, but the impulse of what is to come on Nigeria electoral system. That should be the import. They have been working out, and it has brought nothing. When you stage a workout, in most cases, is to compel attention, to reverse what has been done, or to undo what has been done. But that workout is not going to achieve anything. But let us be clear about the law. That law that act of parliament carries the seed of its own destruction. It's just like a very hardworking people you are cultivating, you are making heaps that you want to plant your farm. As you are cultivating the heaps and you are using your leg to scatter it, that is the tragedy of that proviso in the electoral law. They have worsened the case of Nigeria. When you have a backup for what shouldn't be backup, and it was unintelligently passed. Look, in democracy, when you say majority has its way, and that is what we have not gotten in this country. It doesn't happen in science. It doesn't happen in technology. When you are faced with law that is technology infused, the right thing to do is not even to subject it to vote if you love your country. What you ought to have done is to look for experts in technology, experts in AI, experts in communication, telecommunication generally. You need to approach that sphere, areas of intellectual, areas of practitioners, areas of those who are committed to excellence in technology. You bring them to, because they are Nigerians, you have many Nigerians of them, from the university, from NCC, from related to what we are talking about. So when you when you bring them together, they will do diligent analysis even before you arrive at this level, and they will tell you the possibility of what you are doing, the probability of what you are doing, whether, assuming that there is even going to be a situation of getting the Cyber Act, the significance of that to the credibility of election, that will be told you beforehand. That is why countries are developed, continue to develop, and we continue to moronically operate as a people that have no common sense. It's just like, okay, you bring Gamalin 20, which is outrightly poisonous to the Senate. And without doing analysis, because it has been poured into water, you say that those who want to vote that this thing can kill, raise up your hand. Those things, okay, do you need that? Even if majority vote that it can kill, it will definitely kill, because it's a product of scientific invention that has infused poison into it. So it's not everything you say majority has its way. As a matter of fact, it was a moronic exercise. It didn't go well with the logic of intellectually mobile community or Congress. That is what happened yesterday. The interest of Nigeria, I think it's a lazy job that was done to arrive at that situation. It was not their job. Most of you don't even know whether that thing needs technology to operate or not. And we have had severally. The beavers that you want to use do that. But the delivery on the island will happen immediately you get to area that there is network. So that was not even taken into consideration. Everything about Nigeria, I don't know why we are like this. I don't know why we continue to take decisions based on what do I call it? Knowledge failure, based on incompetence, based on even lack of capacity to comprehend the contextual issues that we are dealing with, and we rapidly turn them to law. assuming without conceding that there is even an opening for people to clone or to sabotage it. What is the essence of a country? Is it not to look for a way of blocking the invaders? That is what our country move forward. India has over 900 million voters. Hope you heard me well. 900 million voters, times 10 of Nigerian voters, registered voters. And they are using it. Assuming that Nigeria is India or China, are you going to be counting 900 million votes? Why are we allergic to development? Why are we allergic to change? And these are people that say that president, you buy technological material for those fighting terrorism. Is this how they are going to do that?
Mr. Guerrero, let's look at this. Do you think the current wording that real-time transmission, but in the case where there's no network, they can use manual,
when you bring that
opens up loopholes for electoral manipulation, because a lot of critics are suggesting this.
Yeah, you look at the type of politician you are dealing with. I am sorry to say, these are people who don't love Nigeria. These are people who have history of, in most cases, some of them crime. Most of the governors in the Senate, they have been probed for one thing or the other. They have histories of crime. I have said it that when you have a group of such people in a country hijacking power, they will make law that will continue to support the operation of such criminal enterprise. So it's not even about it's not about whether it's good, whether there is backup, whether we need backup. It's a way of looking for escape. You will find out that when they get to court, even Lagos Island will not have a network. Because they will say it, that at that particular day of exam, there was blackout in Lagos. Lagos entirely, 50% of Lagos has no network, which this thing are bad at us. Those who passed the law did not even know how beavers operate, how that thing will be uploaded. They didn't take time. Mind you, NCC, Nigeria Communication Commission, has even alluded to the fact that you don't need that. It's not something you need network for you to transmit. What you do, after taking the picture of the resort, you leave it to beaver. The beaver will tell when it's loaded on IRF, the time which that thing was sent will be revealed. So I don't know why we're anti-development, anti-technology. We are anti-progress in this country. Is this a nation we are going to hand over to the next generation? People are on a high mode now, and we are still talking of not having light, not having this, not being able to do this. Excuses can never grow a nation. This is how nation died. This is how nation remain in darkness, in crisis, in conflict, and in anarchy, because we refuse to do the necessary and the right thing.
Mr. Barrow, a comment on social media actually says that we are focusing too heavily on transmission while ignoring other structural electoral weaknesses. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this statement?
What are the weaknesses? Why are we focusing on technology in the first place? Because we believe it can reduce the excess loopholes in our electoral system. Because we feel that it's going to diminish, for instance, the issue of vote buying, the issue of changing results between the polling unit or polling booth and where you are going to take them. So, because you don't need to do that, there will be no ballot hijacking. The result is known. Everybody who voted know the result, and in their presence is uploaded. That has added to the credibility of that election. That has added to the quality of election being free, fair, and credible. And that, in essence, will reduce the magnitude of violence that we continue, electoral violence that we continue to witness.
Let's move. Okay, let's move over to our second topic for today. A stakeholders meeting of the All Progressive Congress APC in Ondo State turned violent on Tuesday when suspected thugs stormed the party secretariat in Akure. The meeting was being held ahead of the party's nationwide World Congress scheduled for Wednesday, with party leaders present to discuss internal arrangements. According to eyewitnesses, as well as the attackers said they said the attackers were armed with machetes, sticks, and other crude weapons, and they invaded the venue, shouting threats and forcing participants to flee as chaos erupted. The state APC chairman as well, Engineer Adetimeyin, and several other senior party members were beaten and had their phones and possession seized. Okay, so it was alleged that the assailants claimed loyalty to interests linked to the sitting government, alleging that the meeting was, illegitimate. What does this suggest about political competition, especially within a party like APC?
Well, the thugs are recruited by the government governing party, according to them. They both belong to the same party. They have accused Saye that he was the governor of Ondo State, of the one behind the chaos. Adetimeyin has been in politics for a while, so he knows this, and he was humiliated. He was recklessly beaten, and other persons too. Both of them have come up to say where they felt that where they identify as the source of recruitment of drivers' union to come and attack them in the secretariat and beyond. So neither of the group, whether Adetimeyi's group or the governor's group, is innocent. They are not innocent. It's just dog eating dog. That is the type of behavior we don't want in our political system. And it continues to resonate with the principle of the worst leading the best in Nigeria politics. It is a shame that this thing is taking place in Ondo State, a state that is upheld as civilized, educated, and with decent people. So it's not strange to some of us, and it will continue to happen as long as the power is on the chessboard. As long as contest is the dictation of politics in Nigeria, and which is politics takes all. Politics doesn't ignite development in Nigeria. It ignites chaos. It creates atmosphere for group of or gang of those who want to kidnap society from us to operate. And the manifestation of their activities is what you saw in Ondo State playing out. So none of them is innocent. They are used to it, and it's unacceptable in a decent society like ours, particularly Ondo State.
Okay, so should the state chairman, Mr. Adetimeyin, bear any responsibility, for failing to manage the tensions before, it escalated?
I didn't hear you.
Should the state chairman, Mr. Adetimeyin, bear any responsibility for failing to manage tensions before it escalated?
Which tension is he going to manage? Look, there's nothing a rat can do when he's confronted by association of cats. So that is power. That is in power analysis. There is what you call power over. When you do analysis of power, there is you conduct your power relation. You understand what they call power over. The governor, as far as the state and in this context is concerned, which is the opposing or on the opposing side of the fight, according to them, has more power than this side. So there is nothing they can do as a state chairman. It will still be beaten, and even tomorrow. And I want to assure you that nothing will come out of this. You can take it to the bank. God save them that nobody is killed. This is a country that nobody take responsibility for anything. Accountability is in short supply. Decency is in short supply. Dignity of human person is in short supply. So, in a society like this, we are all victims, particularly when those that govern us are the worst of us.
At what point would we say that internal party violence like this becomes a threat to democratic stability?
I can't hear you.
At what point would we say internal party violence like this becomes a threat to democratic stability, especially in Nigeria?
It's always a threat, particularly to credible, fair, and free election. So when people we don't elect get to power, that is enough threat. That nation is gone to the dog. It's a threat, and that's the manifestation of the anarchy you see in our society today. Those who govern us don't care about the people. If they are afraid that if they are violent and that people will not vote for them because of their violent nature, will they do that? But they know that they use violence to achieve results, and they continue to do that. It's always and permanently a threat to the Nigerian system. It's an imminent threat, and it is a very present threat to the values and tenets of democracy. So it's always a threat to even existence. It's an existential one because many have been killed by it, and many are even at risk and at arm's length because of these provocateurs of violence, because of this merchant of violence, because of these profiteers of violence, because of this entrepreneur of violence.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us today, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
That was Mr. Biro Olajuwebe, Executive Director, Emergency and Risk Alert. Do it to follow us on all our social media platforms as seen on your screen. For up-to-date stories, check out our website at www.vanguardngr.com. My name is Ololade Adeomi. Until next time, bye for now.